What's going on, everybody? Welcome to IndieQuest, the celebration of the indie and obscure. I'm one of your hosts, and what's up, big dog? How's it going, Steve?
Not much, little dog. You know, it's a good day. It's a good Sunday. Beautiful 72 and sunny out there. Just got back from attempting to get my toddler some ice cream that's as specific as I'd like to be. And otherwise, just ready to chat about video games.
Awesome. I'm also joined by the captain himself, Captain Drachma. How's it going, Seth?
It is going. Just got home from a youth baseball tournament a little while ago, about 7 o'clock. So rolling in here, an hour later, just got to kick my feet up a little bit, get ready to talk about some indie video games.
Awesome. And then today, we're joined by special guest. You hear him right into the show quite a bit. It's GoHoboGo. How's it going?
Hey, guys. Glad to finally be a part of the broadcast.
Happy to have you, buddy. And thank you for always being such a great campfire side chatter. We always appreciate hearing from you. So we said, we got to get, you know what? Enough with this asynchronous nonsense. All right, let's get this dude in here and just chat about games direct.
Yeah, so what we like to do when you have a new guest on the podcast, we like to ask the big question. What's your favorite indie game of all time?
Since I've been listening to this show for quite a while, I knew this was coming. But I'm going to switch it up on you, and I'm going to give you a couple of them that are pretty important to me because the one that I'm bringing is going to be the one that I think right now is my current number one. So one of them that has not come to the quest log that I came really close to bringing was Death Road to Canada. That game is a blast. You can even customize it and create your own little characters and have them randomly show up and be characters you can rescue in the game. It's hilarious, and it plays kind of like Oregon Trail. I recommend that one. Maybe someone can check it out from the podcast. And
I tried it a little bit with my partner. A little bit. Maybe like 2 or 3. We did like one evening, and then we're like, we should get back to that, and we just haven't. So it's definitely on my radar to play more of, for sure.
And if it gets too stressful, co-op, because I did play a little bit with my wife, too. If it gets too stressful, you can play it single player, too.
Okay, sounds good.
And then the other game that I've been playing, I just cannot stop playing lately. It's called Deadly Days Road Trip. It just came out recently, and it's a little roguelite. Wait, roguelite.
Mm-hmm. You got to get it right.
I know.
Right? We'll get some harsh feedback.
You know, when I'm listening, I get it right every time. But now that I'm on the podcast, I understand the pressure. So if I get yelled at, I get yelled at. But anyway, it's similar where you have this little character. You go to different towns and you have to collect enough gas for your bus to get to the next town. And there's different zombies. And as you go, it gets harder and harder. And there's different characters you can use. It's one of those kind of like Brotato that is super simple, but all of a sudden you look and it's like, oh, hey, I should have been in bed 3 hours ago. Yeah. So it's one that's really good.
Awesome.
So I will save my real answer for when I bring my game.
Oh, heck yes.
I was looking at the Deadly Days game, and it has like a Resident Evil inventory system. That's pretty fun. I was trying to like get all the items in there in your backpack or whatever.
Yeah, Tetris thing. Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. All right. Well, let's just jump right into the quest log picks today. And what we do on the show, if this is your first time listening, we bring games to the ever-growing list of indie video games called Indie Video Games. Should enunciate better there. Called the quest log. We got 2 sections to it. The main quest, which is a game that's an easy recommendation. One of those certified bangers. Some might say it's even a masterpiece. You need to tell your mom, your sister, your pet guinea pig today, just because guinea pig sounded good. Oh yeah, switching it up from iguana. That this game is awesome. You should play it. It's one you should throw it on your game system right now and give it a try. Side quest is still a recommendation and might be an 8 out of 10. Maybe it has a caveat or two, or maybe it's just a little bit too niche, but we still recommend the game and you should still play it. I think I want to go first today, unless you guys are dying to. You know, I was going to volunteer.
It's all
he's
you,
clearly
Josh.
been looking at what Seth has been playing on Steam, and he's ready to take him out at the
Snipe it.
kneecaps.
No, not this time. Not this time. You guys okay with that though? I can go first. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I will
Can you
tell
envision
you.
a world where we say no, that's not okay?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously that's fine.
I will tell you, I did hide the games that I was testing out as to which one I would bring. I did hide them all on Steam, so you guys wouldn't watch me, just in case.
See?
I do
It's
that
fun
so
to be a
much.
coy boy.
Yes.
It's an enjoyable hobby.
I feel like most of my Steam like library is like you can't tell what I'm really playing because I like private half the things I play on there. You know what I mean? Just so it's kind of be a little secretive. This one I didn't play on Switch or on Steam. I played it on Switch, so surprise. I don't know if you guys see what I've been playing on Switch, but hey, I don't think you guys look too often, so I wasn't too afraid. This game came out August 18th, 2020, so it's a few years old.
Whoa.
Any guesses on without looking anything up what you think the game is?
Oh.
2020.
I was literally about to type August 18, 2020 indie game. But now I feel like that would be cheating.
I gotcha.
Is it how popular of a game is this?
I would
in the
say
indie
it's
space? Is it
very
pretty well known?
popular. This is one of those ones you're like, oh, how is this not on the in the quest log type of game?
Oh, I don't need of the 2020s. I need of only 2020. Come on now.
I'm trying to think of 2020 indies.
Well, Hades.
Hades.
It's not Hades.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking
Okay.
about Hades soon.
How about
Um,
and this is purely because we talked about the like management type games on the last episode. Did you play? And if I'm completely off base here because I don't know what's in this game, I think it's management style. Is it Spiritfarer?
You got it. I played
Heck yeah.
Spiritfarer.
dang.
A bit of a chonker. This game's like 25-ish hours long. So anyway, what is Spiritfarer? It is a cozy, story-rich 2D platformer with management sim elements. You play this girl named Stella, and she's the Spiritfarer, the titular Spiritfarer, and you're collecting spirits throughout this kind of like oceanic area. The art style is hand-drawn. Imagine a hand-drawn 2D art style. Imagine Hollow Knight, but very cute. There you go. That's a really good, easy way to say it. It doesn't look very flash animation. It looks very smooth and beautiful. I will say the presentation of this game is very striking, especially how they do the day-night cycle. It's such a subtle day-night cycle, and it always looks so beautiful. You get the dusk. It looks a little bit orange and teal and, all the stuff you expect for like the end of the night. And then when the sun rises, it's dark reds and auburns and oranges and yellows. And as the sun comes up, it's gorgeous. You're on a ship the whole time. So I think the art style is very, very striking in this game. I'll say first off. Have you guys tried this? Had any interest in this one?
It has been on a to-play eventually list for a long time. I think I own this on Steam. I probably got it in a bundle at some point, but it's... And I'm excited to hear you talk about it, Josh, because as you've already mentioned, it is a decent hill to climb to really get into a game like this, and like you've got to spend some time with it. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll chat about that in the gameplay, but I'll say it's very grindy on purpose because that's the style of the game it is. But we'll talk about it for sure.
The length has been what's been keeping me away from it. Like I knew it's the type of game I would like, and so people that I trust, like Lauren, Ari Lewis 2011, his wife, she really loves it. Honestly, Josh, this seems like something that your partner would really like.
That's what I've been saying.
I'm surprised that you played it instead of SAR streaming it.
Yeah, I was playing it. I was like, I'm surprised. Like you said, I'm surprised I'm playing this and enjoying it so much. If I like it this much, you're gonna love it. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things.
Yeah.
So, what is Spiritfarer? We'll do a little gameplay breakdown for you guys. So you're on the ship, and there's a map. Basically, you can go to different islands and things like that on the ship. The ship basically is like Tetris with different little buildings that you can basically build on top of the ship. You get like a little tiny building area, has kind of like a grid area that you can build these little things. So the main premise is you're trying to build out your ship, collect these spirits on these different islands, and then basically complete their storyline to give them that final thing. It's very Bear's Restaurant, honestly. It's a very like, hey, we're trying to like usher these spirits onto the, it's called the Everdoor. So basically whatever's beyond the Everdoor, which is whatever infinite life. They don't really say, it's just, the afterlife. This is kind of, you're in limbo helping people out, trying to like resolve their storylines pretty much. So you're on the ship, you're building up your thing. You can put like crops on there. You can put like a sawmill. There's so many different things. You can do like a smithing table, a smithy, which you can combine like ores with different items to make like glass and things like that. So it's basically as you're going and collecting more spirits and completing more storylines, you unlock more of these like basically farming materials. And, a lot of times what it'll look like is like, okay, I need to do this mission for this character, and they want me to do to unlock the sawmill or whatever. And you're like, okay, what do I need for the sawmill? I need this specific number of ingots, and I need like 22 planks of some type, So I was like, okay, I know there's oak trees on this island, so I need to collect all that stuff, make the ingots to make the sawmill to kind of complete that portion of that person's storyline. And then the game does a really good job introducing all the characters and the storylines to feel like the gradual progression of the ship feels very natural. It doesn't feel like you're struggling at any point. You kind of like always have 4 to 10 different things that you need to complete or explore to keep on building up your ship. So that's what the loop kind of looks like. We'll get a character. You kind of have a little bit of management elements with the characters themselves. You have to make sure they're fed, or else their attributes will go down. And if they're not on a positive attributes, when you get to the end of their storyline, you can't actually complete their story, which I did have one character I kind of neglected, unfortunately. I was like near the end of the game, and I'm like, because you kind of want to get as many of these people's storylines done because they're all really well written, and it's kind of worthwhile to do so. But there's one person I kind of forgot about, and he hadn't eaten in like 4 or 5 days, and he was kind of grumpy, and he wouldn't go to the afterlife because I wasn't feeding him, So yeah. But besides that isn't like so like crippling. Like you got to focus on it. Like it takes many days before that starts to happen. So it's kind of one of those things where you're just like, as you're going from point A to point B in your ship, you have a little bit of downtime. It's about maybe 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the distance. So, during that downtime, you're doing some gardening, you're cooking some food, you're using the sawmill, whatever you need to complete that next mission. And there are also little points on the map with these like seal dudes, and it's kind of like a phone booth, and those are your like fast travel points. So you can kind of like, okay, I need to be on the other side of the map to collect this thing. Go to one phone booth, go to the next one, and you're right there and in the vicinity. So the one complaint I will say for the game is it's a very slow paced game, but that's definitely by design. That's the whole idea of the game. You're like not trying to rush to the end. You're trying to take your time, do some gardening, do some farming, try to get different things, trying to unlock new things, trying to see more story for each of the characters. It's one of those games where it's like, if you're trying to just get to the ending, it's going to feel really long. But if you're in the moment and you're enjoying the story and stuff, it's going to feel like nothing. Like this game just melts away time, and it's really, really good in that respect.
Is this game potentially infinite, Josh? Is it one of those types of management games? Like, can you play it forever, or is there a conclusion that you get to and then that's it?
Yeah, so there is, I don't know how many souls, but there's a finite number. I think it's like around 20 or so. So once you get to the end of that, there are things you can continue doing with the ship and keep managing and keep exploring and 100% everything. this game is 100%able. That's probably the best way to say it.
Okay.
I didn't get quite to that. There's some very like specific things you got to do early game to get that. Just be mindful if anybody is interested in doing that goal. But it's worthwhile going through all of the characters and getting to them to the Everdor and then seeing that conclusion. It'll feel very like, to me, that was like the best way to play the game. Like, I just not need to find everybody. I need to solve everything, because the writing in this game is excellent. I'll say I really felt like I connected a lot with the characters. They do a really good job. I wasn't like bawling. I wasn't crying my eyes out or anything, but I was touched many, many times by all these characters and their stories and their path, you know. I'll say the one thing there's a couple characters you can tell are a little filler. They're more like, we want to get you to that next upgrade tree, and this character is kind of in here for that upgrade tree. It feels like, you know, there's a couple of that to try to make it feel that way. They do have storylines. They're just not as deep as the more in quote unquote important characters, you know, in the story. I will say, without spoiling too much of the storyline, all the characters are related to Stella in some way, the main character. So people she has met throughout her life, and I don't want to spoil anything else besides that, but you start to really get a picture of what her life looked like and all the people in it, and then you get to see what their lives were like and hear all their stories too. Yeah, it's a beautiful game. The music is fantastic. I'll say that's also a really good thing with a game like this. It's like one of the best soundtracks I've heard in quite some time, and you kind of need that if you're on a ship for 10 minutes waiting around for point A to point B, gardening and farming and talking to people. You're going to want a really cozy, relaxing tune all the time, you know? So I'm just thinking, all right, there are some other gameplay segments to like collect things. So there's it's a 2D platformer. So you do level up Stella's moveset over time. You get a double jump, you get like a glide effect and things like that. So there are some 2D platforming segments to the game. I wouldn't call it challenging or anything, but they're pretty fun. There's these they're kind of mini games really. So there are these dragons around the map that you can go to, and they have different materials on them, and they do like platforming challenges to go from one into the serpent to the other to kind of like break off these like materials off of a dragon. Pretty fun. There's also one that's like you go through a lightning storm and lightning strikes the ship all over the place, and you're just collecting lightning in a bottle to use that material for other things. Fun little platforming segment. There's a lot of little mini games like that to kind of shake it up and to make it interesting. And so you're not just like clicking water, and then cutting down plants all day. You know, you're doing a bunch of different things to kind of shake up the gameplay to collect all this stuff.
So I guess there's like two parts that you're describing.
Right.
There's the management-y sim and like sort of like doing your social links and all this other stuff, platforming and all this other stuff. You know, the sort of like expected keeping the plates spinning that these games have.
Yeah.
And then there's also the like go slow, connect with these people, really understand them and kind of help them out along in their journeys. And it feels like those two things could be at odds with one another. Because I would feel the pressure to like just run around and talk to everyone once, keep everything even. You even mentioned like if you don't talk to, you didn't say what it was, but if you don't do certain things early, you'll miss the 100%. So like, do you feel like there is a tension between those two things, or does it fit together nicely?
I will say it's kind of a good tension, I guess, because it keeps you busy between the down moments. You know, it's like you have all these plate spinnings, like you said. So I would say at most I maybe had 5 or 6 things going on, like I need to kind of work towards, and then I would just focus on one and do that one. It's not trying to push you in any direction. You just so you do have like a, you know, quest menu basically you can pull up and you can go through. There's 3 tiers to it. There's like the main one, which is kind of like it's called the main quest. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so all these are like the important story quests, and then there's kind of like a fun quest chat one, which I thought was really fun because they're always like really silly and like the lighthearted humor storylines. And then there's kind of one for like upgrades to, because you can make your ship bigger over time. There's like a shipyard. You have to get a lot of money and materials to do it, but it's like you start stacking all these things like this crazy Jenga tower of craziness. So you're climbing all the way to the top to, you know, get the missions for, you know, whoever up top. And you're like, okay, I need to expand the ship and like spread everything out a little bit because it's getting a little bit much. But you need to collect like 10,000 or 20,000 of the currency, which is called limbs in the universe. And so it's kind of one of those things that's like, yeah, I feel like instead of it feeling tedious or like a chore, it just gives you another little thing to noodle on all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Instead of it feeling like, oh, I got so much to do. It's like, no, it's like, I can do this at my own pace. All the little timed elements are really, kind of like dependent on the character. You just want to make sure they're happy, and that most of the time they'll just come up to you and be like, hey bro, give me some food. You know what I mean? And they're like, okay, here you go. You know, type of thing.
So it makes me happy too. That's how I express my needs to other people.
But yeah, as you're going through this game, it's just one of those ones where it's like you start and you're like, oh, I'm going to play for 2 hours, and then like 4 or 5, 6 hours just disappears because you just start getting in that flow state, enjoying the beautiful scenery and the amazing music and the great storyline. Like, I think it's a testament to what the game is this game could be just really boring and grindy. Like if you're just going down to brass tacks and what the gameplay elements are, but all of it together kind of gives it enough variety and enough flair to make it a very unique experience. And I really, really enjoyed this one. So trying to think if there's anything else. I do think the storyline really, really, really hits. Like I don't want to like undersell that one. Like this is almost one where we could do like a review episode and talk about all the characters' paths or something, because there's just so much that's going on, and so like everything connects together so perfectly, and like it has a really, really nice, and just it puts a button on it at the end, and it's just a very beautiful game. Like I just don't want to like undersell that at all. So if anybody's interested in like lots of really good storylines and like just a game just to kind of like chill out at the end of the night, this is like a perfect opportunity for that. So yeah, any questions or comments before I put it on the quest log today?
I do have a question. Are there any is there anything that maybe someone might have trauma that it could be that playing this game might be a little tough for them?
I honestly can't think of too much like domestic abuse or anything, like, you know, any like triggering things like that. It doesn't even have any warnings at the beginning of the game, which I feel like the writers of the game would be aware of that. Obviously, the subject matter is about death and finality. So if that's a triggering thing, like, you know, trying to talking a lot about death and being in that feeling, maybe avoid the game. But I can't really think of anything. I don't want to misquote it. So definitely look, maybe Google anything, make sure on that one. But I don't think there's anything that's too triggering, to be honest with you.
Perfect. And then one other thing I wanted to throw out there, I did look. This is a game that is available on Game Pass through Xbox. So if you have that, you don't have an excuse not to try it now.
Exactly. Hey, honestly, I got this through our Secret Santa. Guido sent it to me, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, I have to play it, right? He's like, here you go. No, I wanted to play it anyway. So, but yeah, any other comments or questions?
Yeah, Josh, does it matter how you stack or build your ship, or does everyone's ship going to look quite different?
Every ship is going to look way different. It's really like... so there's like, so for example, a good example, there's orchards, but the orchard can only carry 2 trees inside of it. So it's like, there's 6 different types of fruits. So you're probably gonna have to build that 3 different times. That can go anywhere on your ship. It just has to fit in the grid, and you can fill it up if you don't upgrade your ship to extend that grid, over time.
Okay.
So it's kind of one of those things like, I can tell I'm getting kind of like I'm running out of room. So what's the next upgrade for that? And it does do the thing where like it leads you into things. You're not gonna like be like, well, how do I even get there? Like the economy builds with the storyline, which I think they do it really well. So you're not going to be like, okay, I got to grind for 6 hours just to upgrade my ship. It's like, no, what are the 2 goals I need to do, and what materials do I need? And then you just do it, so.
I gotcha. Cool.
All right. Well, this game, I think I sound pretty glowing. So this is definitely a main quest game. I was at first when I started this one, I was kind of wondering if it was going to edge to the side quests, but the more I played it, the more it kind of engrossed me in the world. It's just stunning. There's so many like screenshot moments in this, and so many moments that I was just like, man, that just grabs my heart. Like, I love games like this. So even if you're not like really a cozy or management sim person, I would still say give it a shot if you have the opportunity, like on Game Pass, like Chad was saying. But it's really one of those special games that I'm glad we're finally putting on the quest log. I think it really deserves to be on it. So, yeah, check it out. It's Spiritfarer. Main quest.
What? Out of curiosity, what inspired you to play it? It's always interesting when someone's like plugging what I consider one of these big holes on the quest log.
So obviously I did get it for Secret Santa, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it. I was like, I like having it on my shelf. It's awesome. I know I'm gonna like this game. I have been playing a lot of tough and difficult games lately. It's like every game I feel like I've played, like the last 10 of them have been like, I'm kind of hitting my head against the wall at certain points and having fun doing so. It's like, I just played Super Meat Boy 3D. That game was actually not too hard, but I also played like, Baby Steps and Hollow Knight Silksong, like I'm playing hard games all the time, it feels like. And I was like, I need something to just like put the brakes on and just like relax too. And this was like 2 weeks of just like, I'm just enjoying the hell out of this, so perfect time for it.
Heck
That
yeah.
makes perfect sense. Good stuff. I looked it up on my backloggery, and I do own it. I had forgotten. And my comment is, this is one of the indies I most want to check out. So there you go.
Yeah. One day.
Oh. One day. Well, not anymore. You basically took it out back,
There's always a second opinion. There you go.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
2037, here we come.
Yeah, it's happening.
That might be a nice segue, actually.
There you go.
I would like
Take
to, I wanted to, a while back, I sent a message into you guys about playing more RPGs. And I kind of, gave you a little bit of crap without thinking, hey, you only got 2 weeks to get this in. So I wanted to offer up a second opinion.
Oh,
okay.
It's not this is separate from the game I'm bringing, but I wanted to offer up a second opinion because it's on a game that is at least probably 20 hours just to really get a good look at it.
Okay.
Let's hear. Yeah.
So I am going to bring a game that came up on episode 27 that Seth brought.
okay.
And it is
Early in the Seth.
It
days.
is.
That was like
when I was
episode-
listening.
He was
to you
making
guys,
mistakes, stepping on mines constantly back then. So.
Yeah.
Yes, it was listening to you guys. Then I was like, "Oh man, they sound nervous." Now you guys sound so calm
Yeah.
together, but you guys.
I know
so
you kind of like
nervous.
you get up in your chest when you're first starting out. Now I'm just
Yeah.
like, whatever, I'm vibing.
Yeah.
I think I think I remember exactly what game I brought to that
Yes,
episode.
You said it's technically not an RPG, and I would
Yes.
agree with that. And but before we get into that, I did want to say, Josh, you were not on the episode. Steve, you brought Guacamelee. So that's what was on episode
Ooh.
27. And it
know
was,
the
I
episode.
believe it was March of 2022. So I wanted to bring
Infamously
Yeah.
put Guacamelee on the side quest like a dingus. But
Absolutely correct opinion. I stand
I need to
even
replay it.
firmer in that camp these days.
Whatever.
My God. If we recorded IndieQuest in like 2011 or whenever Guacamelee came out, sure, we could main quest it. But come on, we're living in a post Hollow Knight world. Let's be
oh
realistic.
god! All right.
Anyways, what did Seth mess up? That's what I want to know.
Seth brought Into the Breach,
Mm-hmm.
which is, it describes itself as a turn-based strategy roguelite But I would say that you really have to throw in that it's a puzzle game. And by the way, I've
it
also
is.
got to give a little crap to Steve, because man, that episode, you sounded so ready to play this game, and you kept, even everything he said, you were hanging on his every word, like, "Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds right up my alley." And here we are, how many years later? I say that as
Yeah.
someone who also has a backlog that is very
Oh.
disgusting to look at, and I won't even tell you some of the games that are on there because people would just kick me out of the Discord.
I'm going to tell you the
No.
exact reason why Steve has not played that game, because he is sitting on the edge of his seat, hoping and praying it comes to a PlayStation console someday.
Ah.
I think that is exactly why. He
Well,
doesn't want to even touch it until it gets there.
Pretty
makes
much spot on. You're not wrong.
That makes sense. And this game is still it's still on PC. I played it on Steam, and it's also on Switch, which I do actually, I believe it was I don't know if it was a limited run or something, but I did actually pick up that physical copy back when it came out. So I'm
Heck
excited.
Nice.
But I played it on Steam this time for the ease of it. And you put it on the main quest. And Into the Breach, it's developed by Subset Games, and it has a beautiful, you described it as a 16 to 32-bit graphic kind of energy feel to it.
Mhm.
And it does look like that, but it has that modern touch. It couldn't actually run on like a Sega Saturn, but because it looks too good. But it's beautiful. It gives you timed. What's great about it is you think of it as a tactical game, and you start to look at it. Because when I purchased it, I'll be honest, the game you brought up, Advanced Wars, it looks like Advanced Wars.
Mhm.
And then I started playing, and I tactics games are my favorite. So when I started
Same.
playing it, I went into it with this like, I've got this. I know what I'm doing, and I got it handed to me.
Mhm.
This game is hard, and if you just think you know what you're doing, you will lose so fast. Because I did not listen to what you said before I played it, and then I went back afterwards and listened. And of course, I listened to it when it first came out. But you had mentioned that people should try this game, but don't be afraid to try it on easy.
Yeah.
And I would 100% agree with that. It's a game that you do need to feel out because there's a lot to it. You should really sit and look at the map, because the game plays where you have these aliens called the Vec that are basically destroying the world, and your characters are there based on, I believe it's like some sort of time loop. But your
Yeah.
characters are there to stop them. And if you don't stop them, you basically go back into the time loop and try again. That's where the whole roguelike comes in. So you can level up, but it's only during that run. So that's what makes it not an RPG. But
Right.
I would totally agree with you that um, this game is difficult, and everyone should try it on easy. But once you get used to it, then easy starts to feel easy. So then you can move up to normal and play it with a little bit harder aliens. But
Yeah.
you really do want to sit and look at the map, because that was part of what I was not doing when I first started. You need to stop the monsters or the aliens from destroying your towns than killing the people. Because if that happens, it destroys your tower life bar at the top. And if that happens, then you just have to start over every time. And I was always attacking the aliens. That was my problem. Instead of doing things like you mentioned, to just you might take a character and you might step them in the way. I've actually sacrificed characters to die, and they permadeath die for the run.
Mhm.
So I have sacrificed characters just to save a town to not get hit, or a building not to get hit. So you have to do that, and it's kind of interesting because even though there's not really a story to each of these characters, you just get a little bit of a blurb. When they die, it actually kind of hit me a few times. I felt really bad when I had some of them die. Even though it's a time loop and they just come back next run, it can be a little sad.
Yeah, and to your point, Chad, like I and you mentioned it about like the easy, normal, hard type thing, right? Easy mode in this game teaches you how to play.
Yes.
That is why it's so important. I have tried to convince so many people to play this game, and I tell them, I'm to the point now where I don't even suggest it. I'm just like, play easy. Because too many people I've talked to about playing this game have bounced off of it because they're too proud. It's like, don't just throw the pride, just leave it at the door when you start to play this game. It's necessary to understand what you're doing. And once you can play on easy, then you can play the game. And now you can move forward. So just to add on to your point.
I'm here to back you up. That's 100% true. And I will say that as someone who loves tactical games, but I do sometimes love puzzle games, but I get to a point where they piss me off. Look at you, Blueprints. We won't get into that though. I'm one of the few on Josh's
Keep it to
side.
1 second opinion per episode, buddy. All right,
That's funny.
stay on track.
But yeah, I'm not, because puzzle games, they can be great, but if you hit that wall, it's sometimes if you have to look up the remaining puzzles, it kind of ruins the game for me.
Mm-hmm.
So this one I was a little bit nervous about with it, calling it a puzzle game, but it really truly is, because you need to sit and look at exactly what the enemy is doing, because you get a prediction of basically what they're going to do, and you can stop them. And sometimes stopping them isn't killing them. Sometimes it's knocking them out of the way so they're attacking a mountain or just attacking air, or better yet, if you can get them to attack each other, that's where it really gets in, and you can feel really smart. Or you can feel really dumb. There's been a few times where there's been a range enemy that I just forgot about in the corner, and all of a sudden it's knocked out 2 buildings before I can even get to it. So it's a tough game, but yes, it's a rogue flight, so you need to kind of check your ego at the door and just go into it and just say, I don't know what this game is. It looks like Advanced Wars. It's not. I'm not a puzzle person, but I loved this game, and I would absolutely agree that it's a main quest, and I do agree that everyone needs to try it. If you're into tactics games like me, don't think of it that it's going to be exactly that. Go into it. You'll love it. You will, because it's that mental stimulation that I think the tactics people love. And it's that chess of just kind of like, oh, I'm smarter than you for even just a split second. And that's the same thing puzzle people love. They love to feel smart. As soon as you solve that puzzle, you're like, I'm the smartest guy in this room. You might be the only guy in the room, but you are the smartest guy in the room. So I would totally agree with you. Everyone should try it. It's totally worth trying. And when we say try it, give it like an hour. Play 2 to 3 runs on easy. Even if you beat it, play another run on easy and try again. It's totally worth it. And once you get it, its hooks will be in you. But it takes some time. It does. This is a game that there's a lot of games that have that kind of steep learning curve. And I don't even want to call it that. It's more of a just play it for a little while, then you'll get it, and then you'll really get to play it. And that's kind of right where I'm at. I don't feel like I'm done with this game. I was just playing it before we started. So it's definitely a main quest one for me.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
Nice. Also, Into the Breach is almost a decade old.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I don't. I mean, yes, it makes me feel very old. I mean, it was an older game when I brought it to the show.
Yeah.
And now we're how far removed from that? Like, we're 5 years removed from when I brought it to the show. It's so wild, but I concur. It is Into the Breach is truly one of the greatest tactical games ever made, in my opinion. Truly. So if you're into that at all, if you like chess, you should play Into the Breach.
FTL's almost
It's a shame they
15
haven't made
years
anything.
old. Oh my god! Sorry, I was just looking it up on their account on the profile of this publisher. 15 years old almost for FTL. Like, come on.
Dude. I know, right? It's ridiculous. It's like FTL is as old today as, like, I don't know, Super Mario World was when I graduated high school. It's just ridiculous.
Isn't that wild?
Also, I'm really surprised Subset Games has not released anything else post Into the Breach. They technically did that game on Playdate, but like FTL, Into the Breach, and then I guess just like a decade of riding that FTL and Into the Breach money, because we're not getting another game.
Well,
hopefully they come out with another one soon.
When you make the Mona Lisa, maybe you just stop. What's the point of trying something else? It's never going to live up to it.
That's true.
Too true.
Am I the first guy to ask for Mona Lisa 2?
Just make her smile a little.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, all right. Add a skill tree to the Mona Lisa and let me give it a shot. Oh. All right. Well, it sounds like you did good then, Seth. And I'm just re-upping my commitment. I would love to play this game. It sounds very fun.
Bring trophies in.
It's probably never coming to PlayStation. It's been out for 8 years.
Yeah.
I think they're good.
Such a bummer, though, if they did. I would absolutely that's the big thing that keeps me from going back is I need a little bit more incentive to go. But if I had trophies, 100%. I'm not even as big of a trophy guy as Steve. I would be eating. I mean, I would be in there every day. I've beaten that game on hard on 2 islands. So you can do 2 islands or planets. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but 2 areas, and then you can go to the final boss, and then 3 or 4. I've only ever beat it on 2 on hard. And I can tell you that was brutal. And it only gets harder as you keep going. So I can imagine that would be a pretty spicy plat. I can imagine that would be tough.
Yeah.
So
Very nice.
the game that I am actually bringing today, does anyone have any guesses? I will tell you it is an RPG. It is in an RPG genre.
And it's not on the quest log.
It is not.
How new is it? You're not giving me a year, but is it pretty new or by indie standards pretty old?
It is post-pandemic.
Okay.
Post-pandemic.
Okay.
I'll even tell you, 2021.
Death Bolt?
2020.
Okay.
Oh. That's what popped
So
in
much
my
for
head.
my demon school
It's not
guess.
Death Bolt.
What games came out in 2021?
I was going to guess Omori, but it came out December 25th of 2020. So dang close to 2021.
It came out on Christmas.
Yeah, it
Interesting.
did. Oh, I didn't even think about that, but yes.
Eastward?
These are all great guesses. So Seth is going to feel really bad because I think the first time I ever contacted him on Discord was to give him a key for this on Steam. I think I gave it to him for free because I wanted someone to play this so bad. And every time it came up on Fanatical, I would pick this game up just to give to somebody. So the game I am bringing today is Dark Deity. It is a 2021 tactical role-playing game. And if you look up the screenshots of this game, immediately, if you know anything, or if you've played any of the Game Boy Advance games, it looks a lot like Fire Emblem from the Game Boy Advance, which, spoiler alert, Fire Emblem for Game Boy Advance is my favorite game of all time. So, naturally, I gravitated towards this one. And, let's see, this one was developed by Sword and Axe, LLC, which this is the only, I'll say, series now that they've made, because in 2025 there is a sequel that they released.
Yes, I almost played that last year, purely because I guess that's, as you know, we often try to play a lot of games in the year they came out, right? And so I was like, I've been recommended by you the prequel to this. I was like, I should get in there. I should check it out via this one. I didn't, of course, but I should have last year.
It's okay. It's understandable. And, when you have an RPG that's going to take you 30, 40 hours, you kind of have to set some time aside, which is why I understand. And that's why I wanted to make sure I brought an RPG. Because I've been sitting there waiting to come on the show or waiting for you guys to bring, I'll just bring one so that I can't just be a hypocrite.
There you go.
So what the story is in this one is you are part of a group of basically college students. You're at a military academy. So you're young kids at a military academy. One of the kids is actually really young. It's a little brother of a sister, a brother and a sister. And the king is starting this questionable war that people don't really understand why, and you are conscripted into the army and you're sent on some special missions. It I will say the story's good, but like most RPGs, you're going to get into the kind of the tropes of it. That's going to happen, but it does have a good story. And what I would say is that even after like that starts, it's going to be like most RPGs where chaos is going to ensue. Pretty soon, you're now wrapped into saving the world and traveling from every corner of the globe and sometimes off of the world. So it's going to have this type of tropes, but it's got a really great story. And what I love about it is a lot of times in role playing games or tactical role playing games, you'll get all these characters and they all look really cool or they fight really well, but you don't really get to know about them. They don't really talk. Like in Shining Force, another one of my favorite games, you'll get the characters, and when you meet them, you'll kind of get a little blurb. And then if you go into uh go into the I can't think of what it's called, but where they all the groups hang out, you can talk to them and that's it. But there's no other dialogue that they really ever have in the game.
Mm-hmm.
What I do love about this game, they have where almost every character randomly will just like you'll go into another mission and they'll just talk. They'll all be it's like they're all together talking. It doesn't feel like it's just your main character and then whatever bad guy they're speaking with. It actually feels like a group, a unit. And I love that writing. And the characters there's funny characters, there's serious characters. It's got a nice humor to it. The writing is nice. This was made by two guys, and what I was reading is that it was two guys that came up with this idea in college, and they ended up they created the game with Game Maker, and then they launched a Kickstarter, which I missed out on because I didn't get it until I found it just on the eShop. Because I originally, back in 2021, I originally played this on Switch, but for this episode, I wanted to make sure I replayed it and had everything fresh, so I went through the whole game on Steam as well.
Nice.
So gameplay, this one, it looks like Fire Emblem, whereas Into the Breach looks like Advanced Wars. This one actually does play like Fire Emblem. It's almost exactly the same. There are even it's not really the weapon triangle. There is just some characters have where they're just stronger. That type of promotion that they have is a stronger character versus other ones. And on the map, when the characters are sitting there, there will be little up and down arrows next to them, so you don't just walk up to someone who's going to kick your butt. And you can always go ahead and do the preview and see how much you're going to take from them, like most tactics game. Let's see. But it does play similar to Fire Emblem, but where I would say that this works great, and some of the later Emblems have been doing this, but what works great about this game is something Seth brought up in episode 27. He talked about games having difficulty settings, and that's not a bad thing. It's okay. This game has a difficulty setting. Some people are afraid to play Fire Emblem because of permadeath.
Yeah.
And those of us who love Fire Emblem, we sometimes get hung up. I will play and just either restart a battle if someone dies 100 times because that was my favorite character and she looks pretty riding her horse. Okay, so I need to save her. So what's nice about Dark Deity is that the way to play it normal version, if a character loses all of their hit points, they leave the battle, but they instead of just being gone forever, they will lose a couple attributes. So like they might lose 2 strength. So then now they're a little bit less strong for the next battles, but you still get to keep them. And then they level up, they might get that stuff back. So I love that because there's a little penalty, but it's not just completely detrimental to where it makes you want to restart the entire battle. So that makes it a little smoother than Fire Emblem. If you do want that permadeath, there is a hard mode that has the permadeath, so you can turn that on. I have not tried that myself yet because I know it'll end up being a 30-hour game becomes a 100-hour game because I'm restarting. But yes, it is similar to Fire Emblem, but there is an easier way to get into it. And there's even an easier mode where I think it's kind of like Shining Force, where if your characters lose all their hit points, they're just done for the battle. You can have them next battle, you're fine. So there's lots of ways to get into it. I think that's a good, easy entry point, which is important in a genre like this, because tactical games, they can look very intimidating. It looks like chess. If you're not into it, it can look very intimidating. And sometimes there's not a whole ton of story to them. So if you're not really into it, you might not even try it. So that's why I want to talk to people about trying this one, because I think it has that entry level. Even the normal difficulty is a good entry level if you have a tactical background. If you don't, play the easy level where your characters won't even get hurt, really, won't have any penalty at all.
You bring up a very interesting point about tactical games in general. I never really thought about that, but like for me, these types of games are like crack. But for a lot of people, they're like, I don't ever want to touch something like that. And then I think about it and it's like, I guess I like my RTS here or there, but I think that's this type of game on steroids almost, right? At least in my opinion. It's just, there's so much going on all the time. You're trying to manage everything and it's all happening at once. So very interesting. It's too bad, I guess. It's too bad there's people out there that feel overwhelmed by this type of experience, because I feel like more people should play these kinds of games so we get more of these kinds of games from developers.
Yes, absolutely.
Honestly,
and that's why I'm here preaching. This is a good entry level to start.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say was kind of there a couple years ago. I'm like, I'm not even that big of a like turn-based RPG guy. Like I play them sometimes, but I've been kind of easing my way into that, and then now I'm like, I should play some more tactics games. I should get into it because I played a couple. I probably play like I can count on one hand like the number of tactical games I played in my life. You know what I mean? Which I know that you guys are way different than me in that respect, but I'm more open-minded to it nowadays. So,
well, do I have a game for you then? The soundtrack is good. The soundtrack was composed by Sam Huss and Andy Hahn. It's a solid orchestral soundtrack that fits the game well, but I wouldn't say it's a soundtrack where I'm mowing the lawn and I'm jamming to that. It's not that good, but it fits the game well, and you're never going to be like, what the hell's this music? But you're like, I'm just kind of jamming while I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to win this battle or not. Let's see. I think that is everything that I have for it. I will say also another thing similar to Fire Emblem, which is wonderful, and I mentioned about how characters, they don't develop them very well in RPGs sometimes, especially in tactics, because you have a team of 30. You can't really have them constantly talking to you. That'd be so annoying. So this one, though, they do have after each battle, similar to Fire Emblem, if the characters stand in battle next to each other, they will have little conversations afterwards. And I will say those conversations are very well written. For this being an indie game, I think some of the writing is better than some of the Fire Emblem friendship levels. There's ones that are, but very similar. There's ones that are friends. There's some that are rivals that become friends. There's some that sound like they might be even more than friends. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think that part's great. It helps open up the story. And it even gets, I will say, spoiler alert, I have played the second one and finished it, and it's wonderful, and it's even better. So it goes even a little further than this one. So, yes, but I would say this is a great entry level. And if no one has any further questions, I will put that one on the quest log.
I do have one question. For anyone out there who's interested in either this game or its sequel, do you have to play this one? Do you get anything out of playing this one before the sequel, or the sequel standalone?
I will say that the first one, there are characters that come up in the sequel.
Oh, okay.
So you could probably play it, but I would recommend to play them in order for this one.
Okay. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also say another secret to tactics games that not all of the games will have, but this one does, is you can turn off the battle animations. That makes things go faster. Because I think that's where some people lose tactics games, is that you're going to play a whole chess battle like while you watch a TV show, and it's going to be an hour long and you still haven't finished the battle sometimes.
Yeah.
And that could be a little much. And the sprites and everything look beautiful in this, and I love them. But eventually, after a couple battles, it's okay to go ahead and turn those off and just kind of watch the numbers go up and then go, okay, good, I can move on. It's okay to do that to save time, to help get the story going. Don't feel guilty about that.
Yeah.
But for this one, I would say this is a main quest. I think this is a good entry to put yourself into a tactics game. Give it a try. Try it on the easy level. See what you think about it. The characters are great. The art is beautiful. It looks, if you like GBA, and I know a lot of people grew up with GBAs, it just feels like you're playing a GBA game, and it's beautiful. And I just think everyone could try this and see if it's something you're into. You don't have to love tactics games afterwards. It's okay, but give it a try. I think this is a good level to see if it's something you can handle.
Awesome. I will say,
I love this.
I like how like when it zooms in for like the attacks. I love the little animation flares they have.
Yes.
They're just really kind of cool and special.
Yes. Big swings, like flips of the axe and stuff like that, or like juggling knives.
Yes. And one thing I forgot to mention, there are promotion trees in this game. That allows you to have replay value because each character has 4 different promotional trees that they could, or 4 different characters they can become. So you can do that, and then once you promote again, there's another 4 you can choose, which changes your weapons. Sometimes you might use magic then. There's a lot of different things. And as well as you can also, you don't purchase weapons in this game. You have the same 4 set of weapons, but you can upgrade the weapons to make them stronger and better. So you basically, what I would recommend is picking one weapon, sticking with it until the end, and just upgrading that one all the way to the max.
That makes sense. That was always one of my favorite things about Fire Emblem games. Promoting is so good. It just tickles that fancy that you get from like Pokemon, right? Like that. I'm evolving my person in a way. Yes.
But in this game, you get to choose what your character evolves into.
I like that a lot. That is very cool.
The only time I'd ever heard about this game prior to this was when you beat tweeted it for Polykill, and I remember it looked awesome then. And I went and I looked because I wanted to see that beat tweet. And 25 days ago, I had already forgotten this. 25 days ago,
I was just gonna say,
Kurgan tweeted, "Oh, someone should really bring this to IndieQuest." Was this some inside baseball that I didn't even notice?
It totally was, and that was the reason I jumped ahead of you, just in case either you or Seth was going to bring this game. I wanted to make sure to get in second. I didn't think Josh would have any chance of finding this one or wanting to play it, but I thought Seth is probably going to try to do an RPG or something with me coming on this episode, and he might even play the one I sent him. So I wanted to make sure to get ahead of you on that. But yes, Kurgan, we're buddies. We talk all the time, and I talked him into trying it, and he really enjoyed it. It was awesome because he was sending me updates of each battle. And I do have to say, for the people who are also Polykill fans, being on this show is so hard. I have 2 beats that I am holding into the Breach and Dark Deity that I have had it. And for Vyar, whoever is counting for Polykill, just in case I were to get up to Polykill, Dark Deity probably doesn't count this episode. It should technically be last episode's worth. So when I put those out, I'll make a note for you. But yeah, holding that for a couple
keeping
weeks.
Keeping them honest, yeah.
Oh, any crap I've given you, Steve, I apologize for it. Holding it for a couple weeks is so difficult.
It is.
It's tough. I'm not perfect about it. You know, I let it breach containment sometimes. If it's a game I know Trav is gonna like, I'm like, you all can just suck it up and hear me talk about it twice.
Yeah.
But oftentimes it's tough to not let it drop. Or it's a bummer when I'm doing the management for Polykill and I see Seth or Josh tweet something and I'm like, well, now I know that's not coming to the show. I would have loved to talk to them about that game, but apparently it's not worthy.
It's not always that it's not worthy. It's sometimes that you already have something else going on. We have to play indies outside of just bringing them to the show sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I told Kurgan, I told him I was going to play this one and bring it to him because we had been talking. I was trying to figure out what I was going to bring to the show, and he wanted to play it with me, so he did, and he enjoyed it. And when he sent that, I was like, oh no, I hope they don't bring it to the show. But when I was talking to him, I was telling him that I was also going to try to sneak in into the breach. And I will tell you, I came so close to giving up on it. That's what's the beauty of that game. I was like, this is not like Tactics Ogre or anything like that. It's not like Advance Wars. This is something different, like a puzzle game. This is a Steve game. Him and his blueprints, he can play that. And then I was like, but then afterwards, and then afterwards, I was like, you know what? Let's try it again. That animation looks so good. And you know what? Maybe you're just playing it wrong. Let's try it again. And then when I went to easy, chef's kiss, and I understood it. It was like going to JV, getting to play, and understanding how to play. So then when you're back up at the varsity and you go into the game, you're not crapping your pants. That's what it kind of feels like.
Yes, right. That is a very good comparison. Yes.
I say that as someone who was never any good. I think I was on varsity because I was a senior. I mean, I was never any good at the sports, but I was there, damn it.
That's funny.
See, I played up through the first year of kid pitch, and I got sick of getting pelted with baseballs, and I quit. So once the pitching machine was done, I was done.
I just wonder which part of the field you were on while you were getting pelted with baseballs, because in a vast part of it, you have a glove, Steve.
The worst part is he's not even playing baseball.
The part where I'm holding the bat, that's the part I hated.
Okay.
Once they were pitching at me and they kept hitting me, and they didn't even know there was a strike zone, I was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm not looking to get a bunch of welts and then go stand in the outfield.
This makes sense now. This is why there's a bandana. You got hit too many times in the head with baseballs in Little League.
It's all lumpy and dented under there. It's like a city pothole, man. It's terrible. Just brutal. Good stuff. All right. Well, you know what, Seth? I'll let you close. I'll go next.
No, you're not. Sorry, bud.
No,
you can't.
No,
because it's too much of a segue for me. I can't
take it. Go.
I can't allow you. I was going to try to jump in, but I was like, you know what? If Steve tries, I'm going to let him, and I'm going to cut him off.
If this is Dark Deity 2, I'll understand. If it's anything else, rude.
It isn't. It isn't. But I feel like I can't transition out of everything that Chad just said. Right, let you talk about it, and then go back to this thing because it's too close. So yes, I did attempt to play an RPG for this episode. I did. I will say that I got sort of the way there, and you'll understand what that means after I tell you what the name of this game is. So I played an indie game that presents itself as at least part RPG, and that is Dobbel Dungeon. Have any of you heard of Dobbel Dungeon?
No.
Obviously not. I've never heard of any game you've ever brought.
You got me on this one.
It's not Die to Dobbel.
Did Potomax make this? Is this a real game?
It is a real game.
Okay.
So that it'll help you guys with potentially searching this. It's Dobbel is pronounced. It's pronounced Dobbel. It's spelled Dobbel. Dobbel Dungeon.
There we go.
There it is. So you guys are looking at it now.
Love the art
I'll
style.
get into the little spiel here. Yes, it is very cool looking. So it was released this year, February 16th. Developed by GamePie, currently only on PC. It is a tactical roguelite RPG with dice mechanics. And so this is why I could not allow Steve to go. Chad literally just talked about 2 tactical games in a row.
That's fair.
I can't just not talk about the tactical game that I also brought today. So
You know what? If you watch my face in real time, you'll get to see someone who's discovering a game you're bringing. Like you're telling the people, you get to see what it looks like here because I have never heard of this one. And looking at these screenshots, oh man, hard as a rock.
Well, hopefully I can keep you there, Chad. Hopefully I can keep you there. All right, so you guys are looking at what it looks like. It is a very pretty game. The only thing, like my comparisons for it are like, it is sort of Tunic-like or Death's Door-like in some of its 3D-ness. It's
got a little bit of that Link's Awakening remake energy to it.
Yes, it does. It's kind of like the fun plasticky toys are walking around on a chessboard. And it is a tactical RPG-ish thing, and we'll get into some more of that later, but you are literally walking around on a grid tile, and it is everything you can think of that Chad literally just talked about when talking about 2 games in a row. We're here again for number 3, so hopefully there are people out there that enjoys a tactical game, because I'm bringing another one. So yeah, very pretty, very colorful. I think my only detraction for it is maybe it's not quite as shiny as some of the games that it's, in my opinion, replicating, like the ones that we already mentioned. Maybe it's a little bit also ran in some of that way. But still, if this is the first time you're seeing one of these games, you're going to be like, oh, this is gorgeous, right? So very good looking game. Music, probably not a strong suit of Dobbel Dungeon. It's there. It's good. It's that background tactical RPG type music you want. It's unobtrusive. It is good at all times. It'll get you through all the battles that you ever get into, right? But it's not something like I cannot think of a single tune off the top of my head as we're talking right now. But still good, like good music. It's inoffensive for sure. But just not something that's going to have me tapping my toe in the future. I may very well end up, when I'm working or whatever, look up the Dobbel Dungeon OST and see if I can hum along to it while I'm working. And it is good enough for that, but it's not something that I'm going to seek out. There isn't much story in a game like this, and you might be thinking, oh, it's an RPG. All RPGs have stories. Not really this one. It's not really designed in that way. And I'm kind of like holding back on what this game really is. I did mention it's a roguelite, so it's not pure RPG. But basically, you are a party of characters, and you actually get the opportunity to switch characters around at some point. But you kind of find out that this magical essence oozes out of this witch's house and transforms all of the animals in the land into 2-legged forms of themselves, right? So a pig is now standing on its hind legs, and it's anthropomorphic? Am I saying that correctly? Is that they are human-like now, right? So they're also, for whatever reason, evil now. So they were just farm animals before, but now they want to kill everyone. So here we are. Mm-hmm. You venture off as your party to go and defeat those pigs, because that's the first island that you get to go to. Eventually, you then get to go to a second island, and a third island, and a fourth island. Let me know if you might have heard this before. It is similar to Into the Breach in that way.
All right.
Literally have on my notes Into the Breach like in some of its approach. So yes, the first island is easy. The second island is more difficult. The third island gets tougher. But that's the general layout of kind of what you're doing, and that's the story behind it. You're trying to take down these animals and then eventually take out the source of what caused them to change, right? Any high-level questions before I actually get into what we're doing in this game, which is the meat and potatoes?
Based on the trailer, everything I have a question about is mechanical that I assume you're going to get into. So I'll let you go.
Okay. All right. Here we go. So it's grid combat. If you've played a game like this, you understand how this is going to go. Chad has. I can tell you he's played 2 of them, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about. At least 2. Actually, at least 3, right? He talked about Dark Deity 2 as well. You have a move, like your first thing that most you don't have to move first, but you are able to move in some blue spaces, right? They light up blue, and that's where your character can go when it's your turn. You can move to any space that is in that blue area. Once you get there, you then get to select from a variety of actions. So every character has a few attacks. I will use Christian as like the demo character for this, like explaining how the game works. Christian is your typical like knight in shining armor. He is technically a paladin. That is what he is in game, but he's like the knight character that swings a sword. Everyone kind of understands how that goes. So with Christian, I am able to walk up to an enemy and then select my sword. And the difference between how this game works and how a lot of other tactical RPGs work is that at the beginning of your turn, each of your characters, and this is kind of adorable if you guys are watching trailers, your character will literally throw dice up into the air and they kind of go everywhere. It's almost Mario Party-esque. And you get a number of dice, depending on how far you are into the game, that you can then select, like determine how you're going to utilize each of these dice. And every skill or ability you ever get has a requirement. Not all of them, right? If I go to swing my sword with Christian, I can use the 1 dice to do 1 damage, but that's not very optimized. So if I have a 5... then perhaps I would rather use the 5 for that and maybe use the 1 for something else. There are skills and abilities in this game that are like, hey, this is going to allow you to do 3 flat damage no matter what. Well, I should probably use my 1 dice for that and not my 6 dice, right? Because, yeah, I can use my lower numbers.
This is the world's first strategy RPG Citizen Sleeper-like, is what I'm hearing.
Ooh.
Steve, I was thinking about this while playing this game. I enjoyed various aspects of this game that involved the dice. And Josh, I hope that I'm not going to spoil too much, but Josh and I are embarking on something soon that also requires rolling dice.
Oh,
yeah, that's happening. That is happening.
That is happening.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't even know if we're allowed to say anything, Josh, so I don't know if I should say.
It's fine.
But,
people will find out soon enough. It's fine.
So
if Josh is involved, I can guess what it is.
So I'll mention it because it's going to be really hard for me to dance around this anyway. Josh and I and a few others are going to be playing, Pathfinder, but D&D, basically, right?
Yeah.
And Dobbel Dungeon almost unabashedly is D&D. Like, this game is like, hey, what does D&D have copyrights on? How can I skirt around them as best as possible? Every character class is a character class in D&D. Christian has an ability that you can unlock, and I'm going to get into that skill progression in a second, that is called Lay on Hands. Anyone who has ever played Dungeons & Dragons knows that Paladin's like bread and butter healing spell is Lay on Hands. It literally allows you to touch another character and heal them. It's way on the nose in this game how close they get to, like, this is just D&D. There is a ranger character that is able to mark their target and shoot them for extra damage, which is literally the exact same thing you can do as a ranger in D&D. It is very, very, very similar, and they have very obvious influences, at the very least, I will say. But they do a good job of it. It's enjoyable for what it is. I'll jump into some of like the skill progression. So every time you finish a battle, you get 3 skill points that you can invest in your 3 characters, because you only have 3 characters on each run. And each of them have their own skill tree that is like ever evolving. And I will say that it's not one of those games where I am eventually just going to fill out my skill tree, right? I can pick here, but it doesn't really matter because in 20 more battles, it's all going to be filled out anyway. So it only matters for right now and how strong I am right now. That is not true, at least not true in my experience. You have to be quite selective, especially if it does the Into the Breach thing, where you can beat the game after 2 islands or 3 or 4, but it gets harder as you go, right? Into the Breach does the same thing. You can beat 2. Is it planets in Into the Breach? I can't remember. Is it islands?
They're islands.
They are islands. Okay, they're literally the same then. You can beat the 2 islands and then take on the final boss, or you can beat 3 islands, take on the final boss, but that makes that final boss tougher if you do it that way. So as you're moving through this game, you're going to level up skills. You're going to basically, it allows you to take each and every class. So if we take Christian, for example, he has a lot of abilities that allow him to buff his defense and plug dice in to like make him have this huge shield. And then he can also taunt. So you just throw him in the middle of a bunch of enemies, give him a whole bunch of defense, and taunt them all and make them all run at him to try to attack him instead of the rest of your party, and then everybody else can just nuke him, right? That's kind of the premise of that. But you can also make Christian just the strongest character. Like, he is extremely strong if you want him to be. And he's still tanky, but can just be your primary damage dealer if that's what you want to do. There are so many different ways you can go. Eventually you unlock a bard character that, to me, seems fairly busted with some of her skills, like allows your characters to roll so many dice, and it's exciting because your character's just like, woo, and there goes 12 dice into the air, and now you just unlimited possibilities to the point where you literally run out of skills before you run out of dice, which is not how it is at the beginning. But I've talked, and I'm kind of like looking through my list and making sure I'm not forgetting anything, and I think that the majority of stuff I have covered. You go through these battles, you defeat these different battles. Eventually, you get to open shops. You get to spend your money that you're making in battles on different items that, maybe buff your attack or give you increased health or make you do a fire damage for your skills, right? In addition to whatever you're already doing. At the end of every island, there is a boss. You fight that boss, then you can move on to the next island. So, I do have some detractions that I will talk about this game, but do you guys have any questions or any thoughts around any combat stuff that I didn't already touch on?
No, I just wanted to say I don't know why I was being coy about doing D&D. The episode's literally out where we announced it, so it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Chad, sorry about that.
I will say I'm a little afraid to hear the detractions because so far you've basically replaced like "Let's Get It On" for like music I'm gonna go hang out with my wife to, because this sounds just perfect. This is like Chef's Kiss sounding so far. It sounds so fun. So now I'm a little afraid.
Well, all right. Well, here we go. I'm sorry to crush. It's not going to be crushing. I brought it to IndieQuest, right? So we know it at least has a place on the quest log. I think that the balance of this game needed some fine tuning, and I hope this dev will get some feedback. Like, it is a very good game, but I think that some feedback is required. Based on kind of how this game is tuned. I think this game would have made a much better pure tactical RPG than shoehorning roguelite in. I do not like, and I'm a roguelite guy, but I do not like how they did the roguelite. So I will give you an example based on my first playthrough, right? My first run, I suppose. I say playthrough because runs are not short. They are very long. Yeah, I was 4 hours probably into my first run when I lost. So it's just, we'll get into it. I'm not trying to jump ahead. So basically what happened was I felt like I was pretty strong. I was sitting with the first 3 characters you get, and I cleared the first 2 islands. I found out that I had the option to go fight the final boss if I wanted to. But I was like, I am cruising, dude. Like, I don't want to do that right now. I want to go experience what this game has to offer. So I went to Island 3. And I did a battle or 2, and they were tougher for sure. But I was like, I'm still feeling pretty good. And then I just go into this battle where there are dudes everywhere on this map. And I look up at the top of every battle map, there's like a list, an order of enemies, right? A turn order. And so I've got like my 3 dudes chilling there in the middle, and I've got like 15 enemies all around. And I'm like, oh boy, this might be a little dicey, right? Ha. So we get into this battle. it's going all right. We're taking our turns. We're throwing our punches. But quickly, I realized that I am overwhelmed. I am underpowered. I am about to get my behind beat in. And that is literally what happened. I got blasted. And I was like, well, this gives me an opportunity to understand and see how I grew in like the roguelite fashion, right? What meta currency do I get to take for the next run? Nothing.
Oh, wow.
Other than unlocking characters, and the other thing that I could see, you unlock characters as you play. You just have to rescue different characters. But the thing that was a huge bummer is yes, you have that, and you also have whatever islands you've already unlocked. But there is absolutely no way you will ever go to Island 3 before Island 1. Because it's just way tougher. So there's no point, really. I'm always going to go the same path. Because Island 1 will forever be easier than Island 3. And when you start, your characters are effectively, quote-unquote, level 1. So you have 2 dice at the beginning of the playthrough. Eventually you get up to 4, 5, 6, and then you get the bard giving everybody 12 if you want. Like, you're going to just play it the straight way, and this game is so ungodly boring to play for the first hour of each run. After you like get halfway into that first island or fully through that first island, then you start to feel like I've got the bones. Like I see where I'm going. I've got my build going. I'm feeling strong. And then it gets fun. Like the first time I played it, even that beginning part was fun, but there is a reason everyone on here has played an RPG. We all have, even Josh. Josh is newer to RPGs, but he's played them. We've all played them, and there is a reason that the first 2 or 3 hours are kind of, you're dragging your feet a little bit in most RPGs. All you're really doing is slapping people with a sword, and then you move on, right? I'm perfectly fine. I'm accepting of the fact that an RPG is going to start slow because there's a lot of like story beats and you're understanding your characters and then you're kind of understanding how to play the game. But I don't want to restart an RPG and have to go through that slog every time in a roguelite type fashion. At least make me feel stronger. I don't even care if you buff up the enemies a little bit. Give me a few extra dice. I just felt like I was back to square one. I almost was like, I don't know if I want to do this again, and therefore I would not have ever brought it to the show. But I persevered, and I can say that my second playthrough, after that first little bit of like, going back through it, I did switch out my classes. I had rescued a couple characters, so I was able to not have the exact same experience. So I did that, and I started pushing through. And then once I got to the point where finally I had leveled up skills enough, it had gotten fun. And I will say that my second playthrough, I think, was probably more fun than my first. But it's just the barricade. It's just stepping over that extra little bit of friction that doesn't really need to be there. It's really not even friction. It's just kind of boredom in some ways. And it's not very often, I suppose, that we bring games here and say a whole lot of negative things about any of them. Honestly, we're pretty glowing most of the time, but I think, sometimes critiques are necessary, and that's kind of how I feel about this one. Do you guys have any other questions or any other comments based on what I've said before I put it on the quest log?
I think it's important to tell people and warn them about that because someone like me, I'm still interested. I'm still going to give this a try, but I could see where someone would be like, that 4 hour for one run is just too much for me.
Yeah, you think about roguelites, and a lot of the best ones avoid that problem in various ways. Like, we always lean on Hades to be our example when we're talking about the genre. Once you're familiar with the combat in Hades, that like first area up to that first boss, it's like 4-5 minutes, right? Like mechanically you still have to go through it every time and you're still starting your build. but you're able to speed through it so much faster once you have like the skill and the understanding of the systems. And it's a shame that I am sympathetic to the fact that that is a lot harder to do in a slower turn-based strategy RPG. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there were ways they could have experimented to, let you kind of leap the power curve a little bit and start racing towards those second and third islands.
I think Hades is a perfect example of the kind of the opposite of what can be done.
Yeah.
Hades, and I mentioned meta progression, right? That's why meta progression is so important in roguelites, because in Hades, every run you feel like, even if you're not great at the game, you feel like you're getting a little stronger, because even if you're not more skillful necessarily, you still get upgrades that make you feel stronger. There's a reason it's practically impossible to beat Hades on your first run. It's because you're just like legit not strong enough to do that. But you over time develop the skills, but also the power, you actually start to feel stronger as Agrias. That is not the case in Dobbel Dungeon, unfortunately. I just think that the rogue-ish sections of this game hold it back and were unnecessary. I'm not saying that it's certainly not a bad game at all. And Chad, you will like it. And there are a lot of people who will like it. I mentioned that my first playthrough was 3 or 4 hours, but I only got through like 2.5 islands. Like I had another 1.5 islands to go. And I could have died on island 4 at the final boss, right? And then I'm like, oh my gosh. So, but I guess with all that, I am going to put Dobbel Dungeon on the side quest. Could imagine it was going there. Yeah. Still a very good game. It really is. It just has certain parts of it that are sort of glaring, in my opinion. And I would be very interested to hear anyone else out there that can check this game out. If maybe I'm being too aggressive or oppressive about this towards this game, I would be quite interested to hear anybody else's thoughts. Like, oh yeah, it's not that bad, and maybe it isn't. But still, very good game, and especially for a specific audience, extremely good. The battles are super fun. I will say that it is almost like baby's first tactical RPG in some ways. Like quite easy at the beginning, but it does ramp up. But it is cutesy in the way it looks, and also kind of is a similar way in how it plays. It's somewhat basic, but still fun to kind of combine all the abilities that you eventually get. It took me 8 total hours to actually finish a run and get credits. So if anyone cares about that, if I had just probably foregone the third island the first time, I probably would have beaten the game. So 4 hours, right? So, but yeah, that's Dobbel Dungeon, and it is a side quest game. It is well worth checking out for a certain audience.
Okay.
Amazing how different people can have different experiences. I'm on the Steam page, and this guy says, nice casual tactics game, perfect for people with not much time. 61.1 hours on record.
Jesus. I've read a few reviews on Steam that were like kind of shared sentiment. I would 100% give this game a thumbs up review on Steam. Like if that, right, I would. I don't, more positive than negative. But I've seen some people who gave it a thumbs down. They were like, this is so dull. Like, why am I doing this? It's so, yeah, worth mentioning, I suppose.
This is exactly why we have the side quest, right?
That's right.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. Well, I suppose that just leaves me. So, I wanted to do right by you, Chad. I wanted to get an RPG in there. Life just doesn't have an RPG's worth of time for me these days. It's just not possible. And I said to myself, you know what I'm going to do? Don't get excited. This is the setup to the game I actually brought. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go refresh myself, and we're going to, we'll bring like Crosscode or something. I'll pluck one from the backlog and drop her in there. And then I was like, I'm going to want to replay all of Crosscode, actually, so I'm not going to do that right now. So instead, we're closing the loop on one that I threatened to bring a couple of months ago, and we're finally getting it done with. It's Lovish time, friends.
Oh,
it's
there it
Lovish
is.
time.
Yes.
You got to get her on there for the old 2026 Goaty chat. Lovish is developed by Labsworks, published by Dankin Entertainment, released February 5th, 2026, and it's available on everything: PC, PS5, series, consoles, and Switch. So, before I get into it too deep, generally know where everybody's at, but Hobo, have you played Lovish, or do you have any interest in Lovish?
I've honestly never heard of this one, so you're bringing one I have not seen yet either.
Oh, all right. Josh, I know you played this.
Oh yeah, fantastic game. I'm
Yeah.
excited that you're bringing it. So
Who
sorry.
knows?
Oh no, it sucks. I'm
Who
sorry.
knows?
I do want to mention, I always find this so interesting. Every once in a while, there's a game that like catches fire in our Discord, and that was true of Lovish. A lot of people that I know and trust their opinions of played Lovish and said various things. But then you look on Steam, and I know this game did come out on several platforms, but you look on Steam and it literally has less than 100 reviews still. Seems wild to me.
That blows my mind. I guess I don't know how popular of a game it is, but in my head, it's an outsized compared to that, certainly.
Yeah.
You could fit, what, like 17 Lovishes into the amount of reviews that a single Dark Deity gets? I mean, that's
Seriously.
that's just ridiculous. And both of these are games that are borrowing heavily from another game. Dark Deity's showing you what an indie Fire Emblem could be. And here we have Lovish showing you what an indie Solomon's Key could be. Two equally relevant franchises. People are always craving for more Solomon's Key content. But the story setup, which is fun, but quickly becomes irrelevant, but I'll share with you anyways, is it's such a Solomon's Key reference that your main character is named Sir Solomon. And Sir Solomon sets out on a classic NES-style adventure. He's off to the castle of the Devil King to save Princess Suna. He ventures off with his band of faithful RPG companions, a mage, a cleric, a wizard, and he's the knight. But then, as the journey gets closer to the castle, he stops and he thinks to himself, what if we save the princess and she likes my homies more than me? What if I'm not the apple of her eye? So he basically drops them all into the moat and ventures into the castle solo to go and save the princess, all on his own. To, quote, protect and, quote, save her. That's his mission. So, Lovish is a single-screen action platformer. It's very level-based. It is very modeled after an NES game. So every single level you'll go into, everything can fit on one screen. It never scrolls up, down, left, or right. And all you're ever trying to do is navigate to a door in the level to exit it. Well, I mean, at its basis level, that's what you're trying to do. Almost always that door is locked, and so usually there's a key somewhere else in the level that you need to get to. So, you got to venture to one corner, get the key, then go down and exit the door, etc. But there's also a lot more going on, too, that we'll get into. It is a very grid-based game. It's a very tile-based game. It's the type of game where your character takes like his sprite takes up basically exactly one tile. You can jump essentially exactly 2 tiles. You can jump up exactly 2 tiles. So you can always very easily visually identify, am I going to make this gap? Can I clear over this enemy? What's accessible or inaccessible to me is very obvious to you as soon as you have even like a base feel of how the movement goes and what you're going to be doing. There is basic combat. There'll be any little slimes patrolling back and forth or little skeletons throwing bones at you and all sorts of other enemies. You have like one sword attack button and you just go, whoop. You can attack them. There's not like combos or anything extravagant to it, but it's very simple. It gets the job done. And you're going to go level by level by level, trying to get to ultimately save the princess, but along the way you're going to venture to different areas of the castle, each separated by a different boss encounter, and so you'll fight different bosses, big condors and mushrooms and all sorts of weird and interesting stuff. But the first thing that you're going to notice about this game as you start to play it, well, you're going to notice like 4 things at once, but the thing I'm going to tell you that you're going to notice first is that it's a very quirky game, which is never made more clear than by the individual scenes that you see after every room that you exit. So the game has this like pool of, it's got to be like 150, just a ton of different cutscenes that the game can play when you exit a level. And it just gives you like this little 15-second, sometimes it's just like a little joke. Sometimes it's like you come across a merchant that'll offer to sell you a health potion or something. Sometimes you'll trip over a piece of poop. Sometimes you'll come across a dog and you'll have the option to pet it or not. And if you do pet it, you're happy. If you don't pet it, he comes and bites you on the ass and you lose a health point. Like all sorts of stuff. They range everywhere from like running away from Indiana Jones style boulders to Dragon Ball Z references to talking to like the game's producing and marketing team.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many just weird one-off gags and jokes and weird things that go into these scenes. But importantly, a lot of them also are like kind of necessary for progression, or at least will help you as you go along in the game. And sometimes you'll do things that will unlock different scenes with like characters and stuff that you've met. But Josh, I'm wondering, since you have played it, do any of those jump out to you as like the one you always think back to?
When I see this game, I just think of the game developer one. I just think it's really funny. It's like, I forget exactly what is like, this game needs more like microtransactions. It's something like along that joke. And I didn't expect it. It came out of nowhere, but that's the whole game. They're just little bite-sized jokes. Some are going to hit, some are going to be dumb. You're going to roll your eyes at a couple, but it adds a little flair between the stages. It's really fun.
Yeah. And they're goofy, and they don't really like narratively mean anything. Like there's one where you'll come across like a lamp, you'll rub it, and this is like final boss from a JRPG essentially will pop out of it, and your character will just start like bowing to it, and being like, I'm sorry, I serve you now, and then it ends and you just move on to the next level. So it's just something to like make you smile and just add to the like the flavor of the game. But I said that you'll come across merchants. You will encounter both shops and random characters that'll offer to sell you things. There's coins not hidden, but available in the levels that you can collect and use as a currency. But you will get upgrades as you play through the game. So when it starts, you can only attack with your sword and jump, but you will get a variety of items that open up new opportunities to you, give you a little bit more movement flexibility, and do some other stuff. There's actually like a pretty robust inventory in the game, and it's the type of game. Dare I say this, Josh? Dare I try to get Josh even harder on my side? It's a bit like Silk Song in that you can... I feel like you can finish the game and have like 30% of the items. Like a ton of them are not on the critical path, but are all immensely helpful.
Yeah, it's like they're useful in different ways, and it's just like, how do you want to play? Which is always a lot of fun. That's one of the things I like about Silk Song too. For sure.
Yeah. Yep. So another thing hidden in every stage that those abilities will help you with sometimes is in each world, there's a single hidden, or in each level, there's a single hidden crown. They call it a secret crown. And it's just a one-off collectible in every single level in the game. Usually it's hidden like a wall chicken, like it's hidden in a random tile that you attack and it pops out and there it is. And oftentimes that tile is like, it's obvious. You can kind of tell, or it'll be like the top of a pillar or something like that. Sometimes it's rewarded for like killing all the enemies and things like that, but some way or another, there's always a way to get a hidden secret crown. And the secret crowns have their own purpose, which I'll let you play the game to determine. But you will also pretty quickly, so I guess this is technically a spoiler, but it's not like it's a huge deal. you'll pretty quickly get the ability to earn both speedrun crowns and pacifism crowns. So if you want 100% the game, you'll play every level 3 times, where you'll play it once to kind of like get the handle on it, get the secret crown hidden in the level. Then you play it once pacifist and once speedrun. Sometimes you can speedrun and pacifist at the same time, but the levels all take 5 to 20 seconds when you know what to do. So it's speedrun in the lightest sense, and it's a good excuse to go back and revisit them.
So you're not speedrunning the whole game. You're able to just
no.
So it's Meat Boy like in that way, right? Where you're just
exactly yep. Mm-hmm. Short levels with a par time, get under 16 seconds in the stage, and you'll get the crown. Yes. So there's a lot of the game I don't want to spoil for people. Not that it's like, oh, it does a big twist, but it's just at its, as you describe it, you're like, yeah, this sounds like another one of these kind of like 8-bit retro throwback style action games. But there's a lot, I feel like, packed into the corners of this one. It's a very dense game with like secrets and fun little things to find. There's a lot to uncover, a lot of little bonuses if you like really dig into each of the levels and explore, try to find your way around. But anyone who plays the game, even if you don't go that deep into it, you are going to get like very absorbed into the style and the soundtrack of the game, because it is so high energy. The soundtrack's by Matt Cap, and it is such like solid, high energy chiptune music. It basically feels like if you were to pluck all of the catchiest songs off of the NES and put them into one album, like if you're like, I'm grabbing the Moon theme from DuckTales, I'm grabbing Stage 1-1 from Contra, all this stuff into one soundtrack. And then you just said, I'm going to make the club mix of all those. So all of them are even higher energy and more thumping. That's the soundtrack you get here. A few more channels, a few more layers than the NES sound chip is probably capable of, but faithful enough to where you are for sure gonna understand that it's a retro throwback. This is for sure a soundtrack that I would put on while I'm mowing the lawn. I'll tell you that right now. This is a working out soundtrack if I've ever heard one. Very hummable. Pixel art is great. It's very this studio. They also did Astalon Tis to the Earth. They have this kind of like chibi meets retro art style where everybody they're all like squished and cute, and then when they're drawn also in like this weird kind of squished cute way, but like a little more big and blown up. And it's just very. It's two things simultaneously. It's very pleasant, but it's also very readable. And it's important that it's very readable because, like I said, the design of the levels and the design of the characters are important to be able to quickly understand spacing and maneuverability in the levels. And so having to make a character that like fits perfectly into essentially like an 8x8 grid, you could see them being a little more drab, but they all, he's just adorable. He just goes so good. It's not too long, and I would say not too difficult of a game just to get through. It has like a kind of weird life system. It reminds me of Prinny Can I Really Be the Hero, which is an absolutely worthless reference for anybody out there. But you have this very large pool of lives in like the hundreds that every time you take a hit and like die, you lose one of them. And then some of those cutscenes will give you like 3 more lives back into your pool, but you're managing an extremely large health pool or lives pool throughout the entire game, basically, and finding ways to swing it up and down in significant amounts. So there's times in the game where I had 40 lives. There's times in the game that I had like 700 lives.
So did you ever see that pool empty?
I did not, but it's my understanding that the game does not end.
No, I did. I got to negatives like once. It was like -4 or something because I was just got stuck on a level. I just dying stupidly, trying to get through a stage and then just kept dying. And then I was like, oh crap, what am I at? I was like at -2. It didn't even penalize me. I got a cutscene that gave me like 10 after that, and it was fine. And it just kept building back up from there. So
okay.
Yeah, it's not super punishing as long as you're paying attention. I would think I was just kind of like playing it in between things, and I was just like, yeah, I just kept dying and not paying. You know, just how it is sometimes. But yeah, it doesn't really punish you for getting to that negative. I think if you end the game with a negative amount, it does change the cutscene most likely for like the story, quote unquote, or what happens after the fact. I didn't see that part because I was in the positives, but I would assume so. You know, so
that makes sense.
Yeah. And some of the later stages do get a little tough, to be fair, I guess. I don't think it's that hard of a game, but it approaches on precision platformy sometimes, where you can just get overconfident and easily like take a death to the same spike pit 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row.
That's pretty much what I did.
Not taking the time to stop, right? Or like you're not waiting for a platform cycle to go over and back. You're just trying to like get there and jump to the platform in time, and you barely miss it. And
yeah, it's very doable. I would say it's very doable. It's like, it's not like we're not talking about Super Meat Boy or Celeste or anything. We're talking more closer to like a classic like 8-bit platformer where it's like take the time, be a little methodical. I mean, it's like I said, they're only 10 to 20 second levels anyway. Just get that path going and then try to execute it without rushing it. Yeah, I have a bad habit of rushing platformers. That's just the way I play because I want to go.
Yeah.
This game, you got to take a second and be like, okay, I got to wait for this, get this guy, do it the right way, and you won't have any issues.
Yeah. I agree with that for sure. And really, you know, without giving too much away, that's most of what we should probably talk about. A lot of times when there's a game that has a little bit of a focus on secret hunting, I come in here and I have to be like an ultimate coy boy where I'm like, this is the name of the game, this is who developed it, that's all I can say. I'm putting it on the main quest, and I call it there. This one, it's like it satisfies the secret hunting part of my brain in a more direct way, in just like a little more. I guess it's not that different from finding the bandages in Meat Boy. Meat Boy is a pretty great comparison for this game, but it was very much like I would say my personal primary motivator. It was just so much fun to go through those levels and try and work out where the hidden crown was in each of them.
Yeah, I was like the first time I hit a block and a crown popped out, I was like, "Oh, Steve's gonna love this game." You know, instantly I was like, "This is gonna be catnip for Steve for sure." You know.
Yep. I got all whatever, you know.
Yeah.
300 crowns or whatever in the game. Like I couldn't put it down. So, do any of you fine fellas have questions before I quest log it?
My only question, Steve, is I can't remember. Have you played Astalon?
I haven't, but I'm very excited to after this. And as you said, yeah, this went through our Discord. A lot of the folks in our Discord whose opinion I trust really love Astalon. And a lot of them, I think, came out of Lovish saying that game is great. I still kind of prefer Astalon, which just makes me like so pumped that I have, you know, one more from this studio. But Lovish was like, for me, Lovish was the ultimate just one more stage kind of game, because you always have 30 seconds to, you know, push one level deeper, or like 15 more seconds to be like, okay, I could get the speedrun crown on that level if I just go back in right now. And with that like music as the wind at your back pushing you forward, just as you're like tapping your toes, bobbing your head while you play, they're smart, and the music doesn't cut when those cutscenes play or when you're on the overworld, so you always hear the same track like driving you forward and giving you momentum to keep playing. It just works so well to make it like it's the type of game where your bedtime gets messed up for a couple of nights when you start playing it, because you just can't. There's no clean exit point unless you maybe like a boss fight, but otherwise you're like, nah, I'm gonna keep going for a little bit. So for me, easy main quest for me on Lovish. Fantastic time. This one is standing as like one of my front runners for the year so far. Like of the games, the 2026 releases I've played, this is definitely up there. Definitely one that will circle back around to come end of the year. So yeah, Seth, I think you dig it too. You can get down to the game like this for sure.
Yeah, you'd love it. Yeah, I would agree with you. It's up there for me too.
Yeah. It's a game I just need to get around to. You guys have both given it your seal of approval, and I really think that I want it on my like to consider list for this year. So.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not very long,
that's
right?
Lovish.
It's like 10 hours, maybe something, 12.
If even that.
Yeah. It was like I just nom ate it up in like 3 days. It was pretty digestible, and like you said, it's pretty hard to put down once you start. So
yeah, if you're just cruising through the levels, maybe poking at some secrets and stuff. How long to beat has it at like 4 hours? So maybe like 5 to 6 feels a little more realistic. But to do everything in the game, for me it was like 15, 20, something like that. It's not too long of a game.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Well, let's go through everything we brought today. We got Spiritfarer, which I gave a main quest. Really love that game. Nice, cozy game. We got GoHoboGo here. He actually brought a second opinion for Into the Breach and agreed that it was a main quest game. And then that kind of segued into Dark Deity, which was also a main quest game and one of his favorite tactical indie games. And then we got another tactical indie game, which has a roguelike spin. Dobbel Dungeon from Seth, that was a side quest, and then we close it out with Lovish from Steve, which is a main quest and a really cool little, and I think this has a little special sauce 8-bit platformer. So kind of a cool little smattering of games there today. We do not have a campfire chat comment, but we will get it when you get to the plugs. Go plug all that stuff there. But before we get to that, I wanted to shout out, we do have an indie beauty game coming up, and I wanted to get people to fill out the survey. I think there's 10 questions, and we're going to kind of have a little game in a few episodes. So I'll just leave it up. The link's in the description. Go fill that out. Take a couple minutes of your day. Make that game a little bit more fun. But besides that, go Hobo Go. Plug everything you do on the internet for the fine folks out there.
I was going to say, you guys don't have a campfire chat because I'm here. So I was just going to talk to you directly. Mainly right now, I am on Twitch is kind of where I would direct people to come find me at. I'm streaming Monday through Friday. And right now I'm streaming Central Time Zone, noon. Usually go about 3, 4 if I'm really having fun with the game, sometimes 5. But every day, hanging out there. So if you're bored at work, come join me. I am terrible at video games, so it's hilarious. I'm usually falling on my face and dying, but we have fun with it, and that's the whole point. It's a positive place. Come in, enjoy it. It's a good time. But you can find me, of course, I'm in the Discord. Apparently not paying too much attention since I missed Lovish completely, so I need to pay more attention. But you can find me in there. It's GoHoboGo. I'm also out on Blue Sky, GoHoboGo. Instagram, GoHoboGo. And then YouTube, and I sold my soul, and I have a TikTok now. So those are under GoHoboGo Gaming. My YouTube is an old channel. I'm going to be maybe taking some of my playthroughs and hoping to condense them down into videos of the actual shortened playthrough of the whole thing. Hoping to do something with that. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Glad to have you here today. That was awesome. We see your name so often. It was kind of just, you kind of, you worked your way into our hearts, so I'm glad you're here.
It's a dream come true. This was so much fun. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yep. All right, well, I guess I'll do the outro. You can find IndieQuest, IndieQuestPod@gmail.com. You can send us messages, or you could do the text message thing like Chad loves to do. Just send us a text message. You can also leave a voice message now, which is a feature that no one's used yet. Apparently, if you click there, it works. I haven't tried it myself, but that's kind of cool. It's in the description. It says send fan mail. You click that and send us a message, and we will likely read it on the show if it's nice. Okay. Also, you can send us emails, IndieQuestPod@gmail.com, and follow us on Blue Sky, IndieQuestPod. Steve, where can they find you on the internet?
Twitch and Blue Sky as go_hobo_go. What about you, Seth?
You can find me at Captain Drachma on Blue Sky, and of course in the Polymedia Discord, best place on the internet. And if you want to get into that Discord, head over to Patreon, search up Polymedia, jump into the tier that gets you in the Discord, come and hang out with all 4 of us. Josh, where can they find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky, Josh Leslie, and my other monthly show, The Monthly Mishap, I do with our friend Scotch and Hobbies. We just did one, and I got him really hooked on the show IT Crowd. He really liked it, so go listen to that if you want to hear him gush about how funny that show is. And also, we did announce we're going to be doing a D&D session, so if you pay attention to my Blue Sky or the Discord, I'll be sharing it, and we'll be doing that. It'll be a good time. So should be fun. We're doing it with Seth and then a couple other people, so should be a good time. All right, you can find other shows like this at polymedianetwork.com. Go check that out. There's a lot of cool shows out there. So I think that's going to do it for our show today. Go Hobo Go. Chad, why don't you close us out today with some good parting words for the folks out there?
Listen, it's tough out there. Everyone's stressed out. Everyone's going through something. Just take a minute to be nice to each other. That's all it takes. Smile, say hello. I've noticed that when I've walked down the street with my dog, if I say hello to people, it tends to make their day, it seems like. Or they're like, that guy's really creepy and I'm glad I'm going the other direction. Not sure which. But either way, be kind to everyone. It's rough out there. We have each other. Let's get through this together.
Thank you.
Heck
Love
yeah.
it.